Hello, beloveds. Welcome to Tarot with Tanya. 7 cards for 7 days. We are beginning with April 3rd and ending with April 9th. In terms of our astrology for the week, we are starting with Virgo energies to begin the week, Monday. And by next weekend, part of Sunday will be Scorpio, and then moving into Sagittarius by the later afternoon. So what themes do we have this week in our cards? We'll get to those in just a second here. I also just want to remind you, as I try to each time, take what works for you. If it doesn't resonate, leave it behind, and this can be a way to help you develop your own intuition. With each of the cards, I try to give, if it's possible, a negative manifestation of it and a positive. And sometimes a personal and then a more transpersonal as well. So you can see how things kind of work out for you, like what words jumped out at you, what images jumped out at you, because we're all learning to interpret, or we can, if we want to, learn to interpret our own reading of symbols, signs, information like that. Sorry, I just got caught my eye out the window by a big old hawk flying by. So to me, that's a lovely sign to persevere. So back to those themes for the week. I'm feeling letting go is part of it, accepting mystery, getting quiet to receive messages. So we'll break that down. And I'm using a new deck, at least new to me. Let me get the title, The Guardian of the Night Tarot. It's by the same woman who created the Crow Tarot, and I just love the Crow Tarot. And I was looking for something really beautiful, visually beautiful, and I do love her artwork. And I'll just start even by showing you the back. You can probably tell that's not so different than the shirt I'm wearing. So obviously I'm drawn to those colors, that kind of floral pattern. But for our Monday, the Four of Swords is what comes up. And you may be able to recognize the little creature in its den here, but this is a hedgehog. Staying cozy but peering out at us. And almost always when you have a Four of Swords card, you will see, you can look at the top there and you'll see they're very light, but the swords, 3 of them standing up. And then the other one is underneath our little hedgehog. And there's a way of it represents the idea of laying down the sword, moving out of circulation a little bit, stepping back and really contemplating something. So, swords, mental energy. Monday could be a very good day just to try to be quiet. See what's there, just observe, be that silent witness to yourself, or just give yourself a little bit of a break and try not to do so much. Maybe you have lunch alone or something like that, or you just find that space that's just for you, that you can feel your own energies without other people being involved. By Tuesday, we get the first of 3 majors for the week. So with those 3 majors, there is support for us. There's abundance in that. There can be flow and harmony. Here with this first one, it's the moon, and we have a coyote. And in some ways, an unusual cityscape behind. Of course, the full moon is peeking out from between the buildings. And there seems to be some sort of stream or river. And, I get the idea of foraging for food here as well. Though what comes out of the trash can is more water that flows into the other water. So that's very interesting to me. Tuesday's going to be a big deal. There's a very significant historical event happening, an arraignment. So It's going to be a mystery. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. So, that would be, again, on that more transpersonal level. There could be chaos. It's the idea of the full moon, or it could be understanding a deeper mystery, really connecting with the intuitive and feminine energies within the self. So there's our Tuesday. Wednesday, we get the second of the majors, and this time Judgment. The struggle or challenge, let's call it, of this card to me has always been using good judgment in your life versus being judgmental. And that, can be a fine line. How do we know what's right for ourselves? How do we use our moral compass and without casting judgment on other people? And here we have the snake, a golden sort of snake, and the shed skin is, I believe, supposed to be in the nest there, but regardless, it is shed. It's in the back or the foreground in this case. I think, meant as to be behind of our new and glowing snake. So how can we release even judgments about ourselves? Those are probably some of the most intense, because when we're judging ourselves, we're much more likely to be judging other people. So we take a cue from the snake, let that go, and move into a sense of the self that is purer, cleaner. By the time Thursday rolls around, we have the one and only court card or royal card for our week. And it's a sword energy. So again, back to the mental. We do have 3 swords this week too. So, there's a number that dominates. It's the 3s. With this card, you have a black-footed ferret, and I just love the sort of perkiness of the gaze of our creature. Standing on the sword, it makes sense for a little earth-based creature to be doing that, but very alert. And the Page of Swords is often associated with new information coming in, a new point of view, a new energy, not letting a mood get us down. So as we are working with some of those larger, again, maybe the moon brings in some chaos or deeper connection to inner knowing, things like that, judgment, a chance to let go of old judgments of the self and others and move into a healthier place of making good choices but not being judgmental, and then rolling around to being open to that fresh new energy and ideas. And I do love the way the landscape is depicted here too, because it seems wide open and there's an alertness that's required, especially if we are being, a guardian of the night. For Friday, this is the most challenging, I believe, of the cards that come up this week, and that is the Ten of Swords. It is beautifully depicted here, I feel. You have, boy, I don't even know what that creature is. I cannot quite tell what's being stabbed by the 10 swords, but you also have, several birds there, and possibly even baby birds down at the bottom, which is a little gruesome. But this is the end of a situation, and generally the end of a troublesome situation. I always think of Thelma and Louise when they go off the cliff. I can't help it. If you know the movie, they feel their only escape at the end. We don't have to be so dramatic. Of course, that's symbolic as well. So what can we leave behind? What can we say? Yeah, that's over. Something new needs to come in. So that's our energy for Friday. Really letting go. So transformative week. Then on Saturday, we have the Devil. So this is our third major. And, for me, I'm much more seeing the devil as connected to Pan, to the playful archetype. Of course, it can represent evil, things like that. I think in this case, it's more mythology. You have a jackalope as our animal, which is not, of course, a real animal. It's a character, you know, that humans have created in their imaginations. And a creature that can be bedeviling, you know, somebody gullible and they believe in this, you know, so it emphasizes the playfulness part to me. Another aspect of the devil can be when we sort of psych ourselves out negatively on things. We make choices that aren't in our best interest, or maybe we give into our addictions, things like that. The more we can have a sense of humor, the more we can laugh at our troubles, the better the devil works for us. Then when we get to Sunday, the end of our 7 cards, we get the 5 of Pentacles. This is absolutely one of the most beautiful renditions of that I have ever seen. I just love it. I love the owl. Of course, that had come up recently as well in another deck. But here, with the 5 Pentacles, you have them hanging in sort of, I don't know, bags, nests. They remind me of chrysalises, actually. And then the owl are beginning to launch from perhaps a tree stump and some sort of creature below. The 5 of Pentacles, you know, it's an earth energy again because it's a pentacle. It can be about worry. It's because it's a 5, it's connected to the Hierophant, and those are those human challenges. Do we worry about things? Do we create negative fantasy? And I very much believe that the owl doesn't. It can symbolize us having sort of dark dreams or fears. So we have a choice then. Do we turn this into something positive that we're sort of saving, hanging up above us? Or do we turn it into a more negative kind of energy? So very much I encourage you. You know, if we're looking at the transpersonal this week, you know, there could be fears about larger financial cycles in the world and things like that. But, you know, this too shall pass. Know that it's all about the cycles. So wrapping up again, 3 majors, 3 swords, an energy of letting go of what is not serving us, of being able to laugh at ourselves, to be open to new kinds of information, you know, perceiving things in different ways. I also have some new oracle cards to share with you, and these are called Enchanted Blossoms, and I think they're just lovely. The one that came up for us today is Happiness. It's a little bit hard to see, but each card has a flower as well as a butterfly. And what's fun about the butterflies is that they're all little dragons. I'm going to bring that as close as I can, and hopefully you can see the little dragon head above the flower, see the little body that is supposed to be the body of the butterfly, but for whatever reasons they look more like dragons to me. So what does it say for our happiness? Well, it is Coreopsis is our flower, and the common buckeye is the butterfly. So enjoy the little things in life. Being happy is the choice. And I think that's really hard for us because we're so conditioned to accept our moods as things that we really don't have a lot of influence over. And you know, and there's truth to that too. I think we need to experience them to allow them to pass through us. At the same time, if we suppress them, ignore them, try to control them in that way, they tend to, sorry, the birds are really busy today. I just had a crow on the neighbor's roof. I don't know what's going on there, but that's maybe a little shout out to our crow tarot deck person too. But anyway, back to happiness. With those feelings, if we can acknowledge them, then we have more chance to work with them in a way that helps us work into understanding them, and then letting them pass perhaps more quickly, lifting ourselves above them, making different choices. So with some helpful cues and careful planning, you can now choose to be more cheerful. Seek out small pleasures such as a nice tea, some beautiful flowers, a good laugh with friends, or a favorite movie. Go on walks, make time to look at the stars, play more, even if it is for a few minutes. I'm a big believer in play too. Be sure to create time for yourself and the things that bring you cheer every day. The more actions you take toward your happiness, the more ingrained those pleasurable habits will become. So you can ask yourself, what makes me happy? What can I do for my long-term happiness? So we can use that energy again to lift us out of a mood, to get us to a better place. And that Page of Swords that came up can be helpful with that too. So thank you so much for being here. I really, really, really appreciate it. And please consider liking, sharing, subscribing. That would be wonderful. And just that last little reminder, if you're looking for a personal reading, please contact me. My information will be at the end and in the description box below. Wishing you the best, beloveds. See you next week.